the transfer portal is the absolute death of Cinderellas. And I know you had the thought, Rafa. I had the thought. I forget John Broome from Auburn, not an Auburn guy. You look at all these stars now at these big Auburn, SEC, just name a team, except for probably Duke. You go now and recruit guys that have proven they can play in mid in conferences, and you just go and start cherry picking right there. So you're not going to have the Drakes. You're not going to have the George Masons. You're not going to have the University of Chicago or because those guys, usually when those guys had made runs, you're talking about teams and players that had played with each other for 4 and 5 years, that had chemistry. That is no longer going to happen. Is this going to be? I mean, let's be honest. March Madness kind of sucked. No buzzer beaters except for
Maryland. I think Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland. And New Mexico, right? No higher than an 11 seed to move on.
10.
Like this is what
11 the next day. 10 for this week.
Okay,
and the 10 is Arkansas. So in reality, it's still a Power 5 school.
Yeah.
And I had thought about this weekend, and I was like, maybe I'll do a show on it. But then, I figured if we're not going to get it out, there was no point in doing it. And sure enough, Clay Travis talked about it. He mentioned that, and that's basically what it is you're going to get all these guys, and it's the same. We're going to see the same thing in college football. They're going to go and get these guys that are playing. So they're pulling these guys already. And you see already, for example, the head coach from Drake, he came last year from a Division II. I think they won the national title. He brought a bunch of those guys over to Drake. Well, he just got the job at Iowa, and he took the best player that he brought from last year, took him to Drake, and now he's moving to Iowa with the head coach. So next year, that's another team that now you can see, well, now Drake's probably going to falter, and we won't see Drake past probably the first or second round. And you're going to keep seeing that, and it's easier for these guys. It's easier for a head coach, Tom, is any head coach in college to watch a guy play for whatever, George Washington, George Mason, whoever, Lehigh, whoever, any one of those schools.
Yeah.
And George Washington University is a university, Eddie Money. Just
yes.
So,
I know, but just not hearing the university part threw me off for some reason.
All right. But you're going to see guys from those schools, and you're going to see guys, they played well in their tournament, but they didn't make the tournament or whatever. And they're going to pick them off. And now, like Eddie said, you're not going to get those teams like Oakland or St. Peter's that has had a roster that's played together for 3 years or 2 years and now going on their third or whatever. We're not going to get that. So I think we're not going to get too many Cinderellas going forward from here on out. I really believe it.
But here's the thing, Rafa. This is another blow to listen. The regular season didn't matter, right? No one watches college basketball till March. I mean, very few. Gamblers do, but there's no interest. 80s, 90s, you knew, the Admiral was at Navy. You knew Earl the Pearl at Syracuse, Ronnie Cycli, Coleman. You can go on and on. Guys were there for 4 years, and you knew there was stars in college. Patrick Ewing, it goes on and on.
Alonzo Mourning. I mean, list is endless.
Yeah.
And so on. Yeah.
Okay, but here's my point. This is another blow to college basketball. And I heard something today. I can't remember, and it clicked, right? And I thought, this is kind of a cool idea. Will it ever happen? I'm not sure. But these kids that are getting, NIL deals, if we're gonna morph college athletics into pro style athletics, which we are now have entered, right? I mean, that's a fact of life. Why not hold these contracts? Why not say we're recruiting you? This is your deal. You have a 2-year to 3-year contract.
100%. You're 100% fucking right on this.
Right?
Wow.
Like I
100%.
feel like this is the solution to keep kids. You want the money? We'll give you the money. But now you want to be a pro, you want to get paid, you should be held accountable. You signed a contract, we're giving you money. You just can't jump from school to school.
I think 2 years would be the right number, right? Like if you have
for when you commit to somewhere.
Let's say Cooper Flag, for example, right? We know he's going to go to the draft, right? So let's say a player like that, Cooper Flag, you know what? We're going to give you whatever. Duke says we're going to give you $2 million. I don't know what the exact number was. We're using examples here, right?
Yeah.
All right, Cooper, we're going to give you $2 million, but you got to stay for 2 years unless you go to the NBA draft. If you go to the NBA draft, then the deal's fine. You got what you got, and that's it. But if you don't hold for the 2 years, and after a year at Duke, you want to go to North Carolina, you want to go to Arizona, you want to go to Florida, whatever, then you owe us some of that money. That's what it should be. And Eddie's 100% right. Because that way, the guy's not coming in to Duke or Florida or in football to Oregon or Alabama or Ohio State or USC, going there, taking $2-3 million, doesn't get to play or doesn't play well. And then it's like, fuck it, I'm going to Georgia or I'm going to whatever, SMU or whatever. And now he just took $3 million from you or $2 million from you. And I think Eddie's 100% right.
Put it into perspective, Rafa. Imagine a guy signing a 3-year contract with the New York Giants, didn't like that, he only played so many snaps, and be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, you're right.
You want to be
100% right here.
You want to be like the big boys? You want to get paid? Then hold your, what's the thing in Jerry Maguire? My word is strong as oak. These kids are taking money, shaking hands, and then bouncing when they don't like their situation.
Yeah,
and
they should live up to at least at least 2 years, right? Because you don't want to, a kid 3 years, 4 years, whatever, because you may sit for, you don't want to do that either, right? Because at the end of the day, the $2 million that they're giving you, or $3 million, or even $1 million, whatever, that's not going to set you up for life, right? So
yeah,
and the end goal is obviously to play. But if you come in as an 18-year-old kid and you're coming into let's say, Ohio State football, and you don't like it after a year because you're not playing, you're going to bounce with the $1 million Ohio State gave you. And then you're going to go and take money from Texas or from whoever. And you're 100% right. I agree with you 1,000,000%. Will they ever do it? Who knows? But they should. They should do it, because and all the NCAA and all the commissioners from all the conferences should get together, and they should all come to an agreement.